Welcome to the DO Boxing Show. I'm your host, Dameon Okposio. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. In this episode, we're going to be catching the fight between two top Canadian super lightweights, Stephen Claggett and Yves Ulysse Jr. It's not going to be the whole fight, but just basically a brief breakdown of some aspects of the fight. And I was definitely motivated to do this by Manny Montreal. Manny Montreal, he posted a lot about this fight. He was upset about the outcome by the judges and, really and truly promoted the fight for the promoters and got a lot of people interested in watching the fight. I respect Manny Montreal's opinion. He's always been a straight shooter when it comes to reviewing boxing and MMA. You can check him out on Manny Montreal. He's got a Facebook page. He also is and writes for the Fight City, and he's all over social media. You're going to see him on Facebook, Instagram, and he's on the web as well. Great opinions. Covers a lot of the Canadian fight scene, which I think is great. And I like to promote different guys that do that because while my content is 100% Canadian with Below the Belt Boxing Magazine, I don't cover everybody. I cover the people that I do business with, people that I know want coverage, and people that I work with. But he covers a wide variety of people, and he's really a great source for Canadian boxing information. He piqued my interest in this fight. It ended up being one of the best fights I've seen. I'm going to reiterate, I've always said that it's the platinum age of boxing in 2017 around the world and in Canada. We've had a lot of top fights with Tony Lewis this year. We've had a lot of top fights with Brandon Cook. We've seen a lot of Canadian talent and a lot of guys coming out from Ontario going on the global scene and making some noise. And this is a fight, even though it's a local and all-Canadian fight between Ulysses Jr. and Claggett, it is still worthy of international recognition. It's for a regional title. Both of these guys were in great shape. When it comes down to the controversy that happened with regards to the fights, a lot of people saying that it was a controversial decision. In boxing, yes, there is a lot of controversial decisions, but I watched this fight and I didn't feel that there was one in this one. From what I saw, I believe that Ulysses, could have won a split decision win on this, or it could have been a draw. I felt that Ulysses was very slick. I felt there was a lot of inside fighting, and it would have been difficult for judges to score just based on the angles that they sit at. I had the benefit of not only watching not a bird's eye view, but a level view of the fight, but I also had the benefit of some of the replays where Ulysses is riding some of the punches and the punches don't hit him, but his head's moving back, and sometimes judges can misinterpret that or not catch it, or based on the angle, it looks like a shot is landing. So, boxing is always subjective. Is there outrageous scoring in boxing? Absolutely. Some of these scorecards, well, you know what? We'll show you some clips. Watch the fight, and that's what Manny Montreal suggested as well, so I want to point that out. He was saying that he didn't agree with the judge's decision, but he was also encouraging people to watch the fight and see for themselves, and I think that that's a good point, mature point, and I was able to watch it. I got entertained. I didn't agree with Manny Montreal in terms of that it was a robbery, but I respect his opinion, I respect his view, and I definitely agree with him about his analysis on the state of boxing that he did on a live Facebook feed. So that was on his page. Maybe you may not be able to see it anymore, but he's right on when he talks about certain things. He has an opinion. He has a right to express that opinion. I thought Claggett was dogged and determined in the fight. I thought that it was a very close fight that it could have gone either way, and I thought that Claggett was very classy in his victory. I can't mention too much about Ulysses Jr. because I don't speak French, and the interview was in French, but you know what, take a look, and you're going to see some of the aspects that I'm talking about, and if you get an opportunity to watch the fight, It is on Manny Montreal's Facebook page. It's also on my Facebook page because I shared it from his page. It's a TVA broadcast, and it was well done. Production quality is really good. Check out the fight again. I'll reiterate what Manny Montreal said. Watch the fight. It's entertaining. It's awesome. And you can develop your opinion on the fight as well. Take a look. So I finally got an opportunity to look at this fight between Yves Ulysse Jr. and Steve Claggett, thanks to Manny Montreal. Man, there was a lot of controversy about this fight. I'm glad I got the opportunity to actually take it in, and it's an awesome fight. So Steve Claggett, you know, he's a road warrior. He's fought on the road, 25 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 17 knockouts. He's a guy that's not afraid to go somewhere or go anywhere and fight. And this young man, Yves Ulysse Jr., 14-0, 9 knockouts, is a fantastic talent out of Quebec, Montreal, Quebec. So again, I never got an opportunity to see this until Manny Montreal posted it, which I think is fantastic. You know, Manny's always a straight shooter. Manny Montreal, the Fight City. Check out his Facebook page. Check out the Fight City, and they have a website as well. Now, I like how this channel put it, TVA Sports. It's too bad that they didn't have or I didn't see anyways, an English equivalent of it. But the production value is really good. I'm not going to go through the whole fight, but I just wanted to touch on a few things. So starting off in this fight here, Claggett is pressuring the action, and Ulysse Jr. is using a lot of defensive movement. So, you know, it's interesting because some people call this running, but I call it being a boxer, basically. You're going to try and move, hit, and not get hit. And Claggett is putting the pressure on, utilizing his jab, which I think is a very smart thing for, excuse me, any boxer to do. Whether they're a boxer, puncher, pressure fighter, you develop all your opportunities with a jab, and he's jabbing to the head and the body. Ulysse Jr. is doing the right thing as well. He is using lateral movement while he's dealing with the pressure. He's staying on balance. He's showing constant movement to a pressuring fighter. And he's countering every time he sees an opening. Now, the issue with rounds like this, with it being in such close quarters, it's very difficult sometimes for judges to get a very good view of what's going on. And sometimes the referee themselves can actually be blocking the view of the punches. So a lot of times that's why you see a lot of discrepancy in scorecards. I'll give you a glimpse at the scorecards later on in the video, but you know, a lot of people can have a different opinion of this round, and this is indicative of the actual fight. It was very close, very competitive. Both guys were in great shape. Both guys picked their punches well. Both guys blocked a lot of punches, and both guys landed punches through or around the guard of the other fighter. And sometimes those punches are not seen. Sometimes those punches that are punched either through the guard or around the guard sometimes look like they're hitting the glove when it comes to the judges that are looking at it from ringside. So when it came to this fight in total, I didn't think the judges did a terrible job. I could understand on both parts. I could understand Manny Montreal's side of things, and I could understand where the judges got their scoring, because this was a close fight. So in this sequence here that they slowed it down, they showed how Ulysses Jr. was punching. Right there, he punched through the guard. There, he punched through the guard again. But at normal speed, a judge may not be able to catch that, even if a judge is sitting right in front of that. Just because of the angle. Like, we're seeing a great overhead shot, but remember, the judges are sitting at the ringside looking up. So I'm not making excuses for the judges, because there are a lot of terrible decisions that happen in boxing. But looking at this fight, I thought it was very close. Again, it depends on what you judge for. Some judges will judge aggressiveness. So what Claggett is doing, he's being aggressive because he's coming forward. Some judges want effective aggressiveness, which is you're moving forward and you're throwing punches and landing them. And then some judges will score ring generalship. And if you're wondering what ring generalship is, it's exactly what Yves Ulysse is doing right now. Lateral movement, side to side, catching punches, countering, using the opponent's momentum against them, that when they're coming forward, you throw the punch where you anticipate they're going to be, and so when it lands, it has a bigger impact because your opponent is moving forward and you're using your opponent's momentum against them. So again, this round is much like the first round, very close. They're fighting it at close quarters. Both of them are looking to impose their will on each other. Both of them are looking to dictate the pace of the fight. Very clean punch there by Ulysses. But Claggett is there, man, and Claggett is throwing volume, and he's getting through with punches. So Claggett there just tapped the body while they were tied up. And again, now, this is another thing in boxing where some judges will judge, clear punches to the head. Some judges will count head and body punches, and some won't count the small tapping punches that fighters can sometimes do. But great counter shot. But you see Claggett there, even after he got clipped, he was hammering to the body. Now, they weren't hard punches, but they may have been scoring punches there. So again, it depends on what the judges are looking for. So there, both of them tapped each other at the bell and after the bell. That happens sometimes when you get caught up in the momentum of throwing and the bell goes. Both guys are classy, both gentlemen, both in tremendous shape. And this was one of the most fun fights for me to watch. So again, that counter there. And punching in between punches. And Claggett showed a determined will, an excellent chin, and great endurance in this fight as well. So I'm not gonna show you the whole fight, as I said, but I'll take you through some parts. So here we're in round number 10. And the whole fight has been like this. It's been just two guys going at it. You know, if you haven't had an opportunity to see this fight, again, check out Manny Montreal's Facebook page. He's posted the fight there. I actually shared the fight from his page. There is some slight editing to it. I don't know if it's because on the original broadcast, maybe they were trying to take out some of the commercials. But with some of these fights where they're not on a major network, you can expect to be missing small clips here and there. So this right here is what some people describe as a dogfight, because two guys are grinding it out, lying on each other, throwing punches while they're doing that. Again, very, very difficult angle to score, especially when you're sitting at a judge's table. And can be hard for judges to distinguish what's landing and what's being blocked. And the guys finished as hard as they started. And in this last round, I know I kind of started about a minute and a half into the round, but Ulysse Jr. took control of the first half of that last round, round 10, and then Steve Claggett had his moments. You could say took control of the last part of that round. So, a great fight. And so after they read the decisions, because they're reading off the numbers in French, I know a lot of the viewers of my show, the one or two of you that actually watch me, you know, are English speaking, but I respect my Quebec brothers, but I'm just talking over this here because I'm not having the scores, but I'm going to show the scores. The reason I'm keeping it playing, though, is for the post-fight interviews. And I wanted to play Claggett's part because I thought that he was very honest in his post-fight interview. And I thought it was a great assessment of the fight, and I thought it was very classy. And I'll let him say it in his words here.
Hi. Congratulations, really, you deserve it, but it seems that people here don't really agree with the decision. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I've been on the bad side of decisions as well, and I just told Yves that was a close fight. I'll give him a rematch. Thank you guys for coming out. Like I said, I'll give him a rematch because that was a close fight. That's a great. I thought it was a great war. And I know the fans would see it again. I know Yves wants it again, so let's do it again.
And I thought it was a great war too. So I'm not discounting what my man Manny Montreal said, because I follow Manny Montreal. I respect his view on the fight game.
I was pushing him back. He was boxing sharp. It's a matter of perspective. So it was a great fight. Thank you, Montreal. You guys have been great to me. So
I'm just going to go back on what he said here.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And you know, some judges score it one way, some judges score it the other. I was the aggressor. I was pushing him back. He was boxing sharp. It's a matter of perspective. So it was a great fight. Thank you, Montreal. You guys have been great to me. So nothing but respect. I love this fight town. I know you guys, this is your guy. So all due respect to everybody. I'd love to come back and fight again. And thank you. I thought I fought very, very